Welcome to the Neuropreneur Rising podcast. I'm Polly Pollock, marketing mentor and published author, and I help newly qualified and blossoming coaches with ADHD and ADHD go full-time in their business with marketing that fits their brain and without relying on social media. In these episodes, you'll learn how to turn your coaching skills into paying clients, build a business that works for your energy, and create simple, sustainable ways to market and sell without burning out. Let's get into it. All right, guys. Hello and welcome back to the Neuropreneur Riding. What the fuck? Start again. Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Neuropreneur Rising podcast. Today, I am joined by my amazing friend and fellow country girl, Cass. She's an email marketing strategist who helps entrepreneurs turn subscribers into loyal customers through authentic, relation-driven emails. I really am excited for you to hear from Cass today because she is my favorite person in this kind of like sector of the industry. You just embody your brand so beautifully and your own kind of like independence with the way that you talk and the way that you write. And you also are just such an amazing expert in what you teach as well. And you just blend those two things beautifully together. So Cass, hello, tell us a little bit about you, where you got started, and yeah, take it away with your story and intro to it.
Well, thank you. That was quite the introduction. My goodness. Well, my name is Cass. It's technically Cassidy, but I prefer everybody call me Cass. It feels more like friends. I'm also the copywriting mama, but my story is a little kooky in that I got fired. I got fired right after knocking out a slam dunk email sequence. I had contributed to a pretty big launch and lost my job right after. But that boss left me with something. She had told me at one point that if I ever didn't work for her, I'd make a great copywriter, which I should have seen as the foresight, but I didn't. And so as soon as she fired me, I thought, I'm going to take that piece of advice. And I gave myself about 24 hours to cry about it. And then I got on YouTube and I found much of the copywriters you'll go find on there today. And I just started learning from there. And I decided, coming off of the back of that job, I wanted to continue working with moms and kind of women in that space. I think just as a mom, that's where my comfort is. And so when I was learning about keywords and things and how you choose your name, I thought, well, I want to be known for copywriting and I want to be known for mom brand copywriting. And so I thought the copywriting mama, that just makes sense. And that's really how it got started. And so, yeah, that's the birth of the brand. And we're here almost 3 years. August will be 3 years. And it's crazy to think that we've held it together this long,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love how your story, and you're like, I should have seen that as the foresight. There's so many things that we look back on and we're like, how did I literally not see? It's like foreshadowing of like a plot of a good movie. It's like, how did I not see that?
I know. I remember her saying it and thinking I was so flattered because the compliment, I was like, you think I can be a copywriter? But then also in the moment, I remember thinking, why would you say that? We're going to be together forever. What do you mean? Yeah. And, but life happens the way it's supposed to. And I wouldn't change anything about it now.
Yeah, I do. I so believe that. I think that our path is like laid out how it's meant to be. I'm a very big believer in that. I guess you are too, because your whole thing, I know you post a lot about kind of your faith. That's like a huge part of your brand. And you post things to that kind of context quite a lot. Well, I don't really check threads anymore, but when I was on there, I'd love just seeing like little reminders from you popping up on my threads. And honestly, if I could just go back on threads and just have like Cassidy, all her threads, and that would be it. That's my entire feed. I so would. But it's just nice reminders. Like I really do think that we have a path that's kind of laid out for us, and we look back and our business struggles can often feel so crap at the time, and then we're like, oh no, that happened literally just as it's meant to. And I think so many people we forget that in business.
Yeah, it can be lonely in the process, when you hit those hiccups, and we've all wanted to burn it down. That's just the reality of, I'm sure everyone in here has been on Indeed or on LinkedIn Jobs thinking like, I could make so much more doing what I'm doing for somebody else. And it would be so easy, so much easier. And something about it, like, why do we keep coming back to this business? Why do we keep building the thing that we own? And I think that there's just like a certain fire in all of us, whether you're faith-based, whatever you believe in, but that entrepreneurial fire is like this little lighter inside you. And it's like, it's it's hard to put out. And so
Yeah.
I think we just got to keep following it. And sometimes we got to protect the flame because wind comes through and wants to burn it out and we're tired. But yeah, it's opened my eyes to a world I didn't even know existed. I would have never known in high school that this was a job option, or like in middle school, this wasn't what people were like growing up wanting to be. I never thought about, you know, when you think of somebody owning a business, you think of like a plumber who owns a plumber business or something like that. You don't think about the online space. I think too, it's a newer development in the plot. You know, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like when we were kids, like this kind of stuff wasn't really, I mean, you did get coaches and, you know, online service providers to an extent, but like accountants and stuff, like it wasn't like it is today. It was like, I think that this would have been childhood Polly's wildest dream of like, holy shit, this is awesome.
If you told me I could make a living from being home and that sitting on my phone on my couch could be considered working because I'm writing a post, I think I would have, I don't know what, I would have probably pursued it a lot sooner, but I think I needed to mature and go through everything the way that it happened. But yeah, it's pretty cool. We're living in a really cool time, you know?
Yeah, we are. Like I always say this is like, I this is the kind of shit that I think about in the shower, and just like when I look like I'm really like focused on something, this is the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. But I was saying the other day, there's so much that we can say is wrong with the world, and like, yeah, some parts are a shit show, right? But we're also living in a time where we have, most of us, like me and you and everyone listening to this podcast, we have the privilege to do this, and that's incredible. And I think like modern life has its like struggles and business has its struggles, but our ancestors from like 100+ years ago would be looking at this like, bitch, you're complaining. We literally had to fight for sustenance every day. And like, if we had a bad season, our whole food would be like gone.
You know,
and
that
now
joke,
you can order it.
that joke that's like explaining this to a Victorian child, like explaining what we do to work to a Victorian child would be crazy. I mean, explaining it to my parents is crazy. They still don't think I have a job. That's the reality. So yeah, I think that we're undoubtedly privileged. We undoubtedly have this amazing opportunity, and I'm going to take full advantage of it. And I'm not going to ever apologize that I have this opportunity. You know, it really feels like the best thing I can do is steward it well and show my appreciation through like acts of gratitude and just being a seed of good on the internet, right? The internet is such a toss up. There's the best people. I've met some of my best lifelong friends through business, and even ones that in person. And then I've had some experiences with people online that make me never want to meet another person ever again. So I think that mixture, it's like you can really focus on the good. It's like when you're going through somebody's phone, like you're going to find what you're looking for. Like you're going to find what you're looking for on the internet. And I'm always going to be looking for the good, the hope, the positive, the shiny thing, you know? And I like, Polly, you're one of those people for me. You were like a little sliver of hope, you know? So you're always so positive in the space. And I don't think I've ever seen you like, even when you're having an off day, the way you'll spin it and put it is like, you know, we're just here. We're still going on. I'm like, yes. You know, we need that. We need more of that.
Dude, that's so nice. And I feel the same about you as well. Like your posts are just like, they really, like when I was on socials, they really did recenter me, and I just, good little reminders. But that's so funny because I often think like I'm opinionated. Like I'll talk about like what kind of shit doesn't fly with me in the online business kind of world and stuff. So I often think like I'm quite disruptive, but it's so funny because everybody has different perceptions of different people, and yours is like not like, I think
I'm disruptive too, and maybe that's why we jive. Is I'm not bothered by it, even when it's something that's not in my personal opinion, right? Or like whether you know, we don't have to get into politics and stuff, but sometimes people I love have their spicy take, and it's not even a take that agrees with mine, but like I respect that person, I appreciate that person, and so I can open my mind to kind of looking at it from their point of view. And I think that it's so good to not be in an echo chamber of just like only associating with people that agree with you on everything. And so I love it. I love seeing people pop off on, you know, on whatever it is that they feel passionate about in that moment. And sometimes I'm right behind you.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I respect I'm not one for division. Like I'm not this or that. I'm not binary. I'm not like, you know, left, right, fucking up, down. Like I'm me. I'm a human being. I look at what I think is in alignment with my values, but ultimately I love it when people can share and articulate their values. And I like seeing people live what's true to them. And that's my thing. That's really gets me off, like in a non-creepy way. Like I love that. And it doesn't literally get me off, but I just love it. I do. I love it. So,
oh my gosh.
But yeah, the internet is a wild place. So I feel like I could talk to you about this kind of stuff all day though. But so, okay, email marketing. You're a fellow squirrel brain, as you like to put it, ADHD. So you kind of get the overwhelm that I think a lot of people have with email marketing when they do have kind of chaotic brains. Let's start with overall, and in this kind of time where social media is like all the rage, what are the biggest mistakes that you kind of see people making overall with email marketing?
Yeah. So number one mistake is going to be like the obvious one is not doing it at all, thinking it's too hard, too complex for you. I mean, I could get that way with socials, the graphics of it all. I just can't keep up with the aesthetic, but I have found a way that I can keep up with that works for me. And email can be the same way. You have to figure out a pace, a consistency, frequency that you can stick to. And also just overthinking the process. I think everybody thinks that every email needs to do 10 different things, and it doesn't. Like I would think of more as an email is almost like a story, like an IG story, right? Like whereas a blog post might be compared to a social post on your feed because it lives longer. Email is so quick that even if it's oh, that was a C. I would rate that one a C minus, barely passed. It's still building that muscle. And so taking the pressure off so that you will actually just write the email, that would be like the number one mistake. The second thing is people who think nurturing and selling have to exist separately and that they're not something that can be intertwined. They think either I'm providing value or I'm asking for the sale. And I just think, why can't you do both? Like, why? And so that would be the biggest thing, is finding a way to blend and balance the two, and then just do it consistently, which I know sounds like just do it, it's no biggie, but I'm confident because I that's how I do it, and I know I can share that process. And if you have even a sliver of my squirrel brain, it can work for you, so
yeah, I love that. Yeah, on the consistency piece, I feel like the way I describe it is there's a lot of people in like the ADHD kind of business space that say like, you don't need to be consistent. It's a myth. It's like, no, you do. You literally do. And anything in life and business that you want to see a return from, you really do need to be consistent. But the thing that's different with email is that you don't have to create an email and send it out to your list every single day. Like social posting, people are tired and people can't stay consistent because they're posting every single day, and it's really taxing, or can be if you haven't figured out a way to make it work for you, or if you enjoy it. And the thing about email is like, it's one a week is great. It's not, you don't need to do it every single day, so it's easier to maintain.
Yeah. And I think I've learned too that the frequency is so personal to you and so can look like different things. I know people that email every single day. I know people that email once a week. I know real estate agents that do it once a month. It's really up to you what you can stick with. And what was I going to say here with I'm like chasing my brain back to the beginning. But the other thing that's cool with email is being able to repurpose that content. It's not just this. So maybe your day starts out with, okay, I would need an email. I need 5 threads this week, 2 posts, whatever you need, the whole menu. I would go brain dump that email on that one topic, pick that one thing. And maybe like my example for my industry being email marketing, I'm going to write an email today all about the laws. And I also want to just mention like grace and how important grace is. If you forget an email, I think I on Saturday posted that I was going to write this email about the laws because I was triggered that day about the laws of email, because there are laws around what you can and can't do. Well, that day I say I'm going to send the email out. It's Monday morning as we record this. I have not sent the email out. I'm going to send it out today. My audience knows that I will come in with it. It might be a little bit late, but that's who I am. But giving myself grace, I could be hard on myself in this moment and be like, it's just not worth sending. I mean, I mentioned it 2 days ago. Who even cares at this point? Like, no, that's a great email. And guess what? I'm going to use that whole email about the laws and then sprinkle it the rest of the week in the rest of my content. I'm going to turn that into a few threads. We're going to turn it into a few posts. It'll be a story sequence where you can subscribe to get my last email, and I'll have it as an automation. And so I'll take that one piece of content and spread it across all my other marketing platforms. But I can't necessarily always do the same thing by taking like a thread and turning it into an email, because you have to expand so much. So it's easier, in my opinion, start with email and then let that trickle down like a little waterfall into the rest of your things.
Yeah, I so agree. I think starting with email in that sense is definitely what I would consider easiest. I think for me, like obviously non-social media, what I tend to do, and this is the joy of repurposing, is you can make it work for whatever your like marketing is. I tend to do like, I'll record my podcast and then I'll use my podcast as a kind of like an inspiration for the email. And then I'll either link it to a podcast or, you know, if I have a different kind of aim for my email that week, I won't. But I love what you said also about nurturing and selling. People always think that they need to do it separately. And I think as so many people in the online business space that these days have gotten into launching, where you have to like have a period of, you know, the perception is you have to have a period of like just warming up and just getting visible and then just selling. And this is where or like people also have a perception of email marketing that it's just to sell and nothing else. And it's like they have to, and they really shouldn't they shouldn't exist separately. You can totally do it all in one email if like you're evergreen, for example, or like even if you're launching and you're in pre-launch or whatever. But yeah, I think people often worry like, oh, I have to send like sales emails out on email. And
I
it's like,
noticed
no, you
that too.
actually
People,
don't.
the language around it is really interesting. You see people looking for help with newsletters, or they're looking for help with sales emails. And I'm like, where did you get this idea that somebody isn't doing both? And then I jump on the post and I'm like, howdy, you know, I can wrap them both into one. And I think that it's like people don't even realize that it can be going on at the same time. And yes, you can be nurturing and priming, which you know, you can be nurturing and launching. Or if you're evergreen, you know, that's something you're going to be subtly mentioning. And let's just talk about like formatting wise. If I'm telling a story and naturally I'm talking about email, there's one of my two offers that's going to naturally fit in. You don't necessarily have to click a buy now big button here smack dab in the middle of the email. You can just embed that text, that one sentence that's like the best help I ever got with my email marketing, and that embed that link to that sales page. And maybe they click it right there, but they also got nurtured by the email. And so I think we need to have more fun and take the rules off of, you know, that this needs to be a formal sales email or a formal nurturing email. You know?
Yeah, I love that. And like you can do both. And this is the thing, like my kind of saying, I always just say, my students probably get really sick of it. It's just like sales is service. Like you need to serve before and during like the sales process, because that's what sales like comes off of the tail end of anyway. And so I love what you said about like you can either like embed the text, or you can just like mention it in an email where you're giving value, or you can soft sell, as they kind of call it, and you can soft sell in an email that delivers value. You don't always have to be like and introducing like you're like rolling out the red carpet for your offer, like so dramatic.
Well, and you know, it made me think of there's one instance in which maybe it is a hard sell, and it might be listing out like the logistics, right? So the content is like the transformation content that's a little more woo, you can get a little more creative. However, there's going to be an email where you're like, this is how much the cost is, this, and this is what you get. Here's what we're doing week 1, 2, and 3. Like there are going to be more number brain, logic brain written emails, because there are buyers who are more logic numbers written buyers. And so having a blend of the two, and this all comes down to like, holy cannoli, you have to create so much content to do business online. This is a lot. It's a lot. And that's why it's so nice to be able to have a system for repurposing things. And I'm not opposed to AI too. Like while we're sitting here talking about neurodivergent people, like we love something that is a little bit easier, just takes a little bit of that load off. And so I'm not a copywriter who's against using AI in these things. And I think you can train it to get pretty damn close. And so just want to put that out there, that you don't have to do it all from scratch all the time, but simple, repeatable processes that you can repeat will help you to have that creativity. And then before you know it, you're going to be at the grocery store, something's going to happen. You're going to be like, oh, that would make a good email. That'd make a good email. It's like training your eyes to see it, you know? And then once you learn how to take that one thing that happened and segue it to the service or the product and be able to kind of I call it storytell and sell, or story selling. It becomes like a skill you have. I mean, I imagine that this is like painting or anything else. I'm not a painter, so I don't know. But, you know, I imagine that it's a muscle. I don't think that just because this is my gift that I'm the only one that can do this. I think I've just created a good way that I can share and teach other people how to do it, you know? So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, like first it's a skill to be learned, and then you learn it in a way, you adapt the skill to you, right? That's like that's how you can, that's like mastery, I guess. But yeah, with the AI as well, like hey, we don't want to be spending like 2 hours on one email. And like, you will at the start, like there's no getting around that. You will at the start, you'll do it. But you don't, we love a system. I think when people, and these days where it's getting out of hand with AI, is where they just say, hey, AI, spit something out for me. And everybody can tell these days, like when you read something that's written like by ChatGPT solely, it's like, come on, dude. Like,
what do they say? They say you said a lot but you said nothing, or you used a lot of words to say nothing. You know that statement?
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's
I
like the
cannot.
word salad thing. Yeah,
where it was just word salad. Exactly that. And so people can tell. And here's the other thing: if you put one sentence in AI and you're like, write this as if you are an ADHD business coach, like you're getting the same turnout as everyone else who wrote that, versus having something like a brand messaging blueprint or something that has all your values and your differentiators. And those are the things that are really going to separate you from 20,000 people in your, like, do you know how many email marketers there are out there? And how are you going to be different? You can't just talk about like convert like crazy, like, you got to do more than that, got to put your back into it a little bit.
You do. And this is the thing, like with beginners, which is like, I work with a lot of beginners in NFSA. I also work with some like, intermediate business owners. So there's like quite a mix. But the thing with beginners where I see this go terribly wrong with AI is that they don't even know what their values are yet. They don't even know what their positioning is yet. And so they're letting AI do the heavy lifting there. And it's like, bruh, you need to work that out for yourself first. Slow down. Like, you need to be so sure. And then you use it as a, like, I think there's a, like, control your tech, don't let your tech control you. And that's like really how we should be using it, as like a thought partner and, a nice to have,
Yeah, because when you first use it, you're like, this is amazing. This is crazy what this can turn things into. But you can almost get delusional with it and you think it's a lot better than it is. And there's people out there that are handwriting things that are just running circles around you. And so I think establishing first who you are and figuring that out and self-identifying before you even get into AI is so important. And it's just, you've got to tell it who you are. Don't let it tell you who you are. Things like that. Very important. Yeah.
Love that. So like I feel like there's like on the topic of needing to or wanting to shove all of every piece of everything into one email, like I feel like that's such a common trap for people who are so maybe like coaches who love to teach. I always have to go back over my own emails even, because I'm like, okay, I've probably made this a little bit too long. I've probably started talking about something else here that I need to cut out. Like, it's just the curse of the expert, or one of the curses of the expert. And so when you're writing emails, and you're right, it's kind of like a trust ladder that you're always building every email with your audience. How do you build that trust through email without like over delivering, over teaching, and just like writing essays?
Yeah. Essays I feel like when I first got into email, essays were a little bit more common, but we're realizing how short everyone's attention spans are and that shorter performs better. I always try to boil things down to their most basic form. And so, right, like on the surface level, the email might be about funnels. But like, you're going to make one email about like, how are you going to explain all that a funnel is in an email? And so then maybe you boil it down to, here's your opt-in page and how I would do an opt-in page. Here's what the first email they should get after that is. Here now is the welcome sequence framework that I would use. And so break that funnel into like 10 different emails. And that's really one of my secrets to never running out of content, is because by the time you feel like you've made it through everything, okay, well, it's time to go back and talk about your discovery call or talk about the thing. And so you're constantly evolving. Your business is an evolution that's just always changing. And so by the time you circle back to a topic, people worry about being repetitive. They're like, I don't want to talk about the same thing over and over. Your opinion on it's going to change 6 months from now or a year from now, or it's not, and you'll stand on business and you'll be like, I still feel exactly the same way I stand on this. And you're going to have new people around. People are forgetting things. Nobody's watching you as closely as you think they are. And so they've forgotten things. I mean, you could give it all away in your emails, but you just breadcrumb it. Like, give them one thing to chew on at a time. Don't, I always say, make it either entertaining, engaging, or inspiring. And if it does more than just one of those things naturally, fine. But just try to do one thing with each email. Don't try to do too much. And make it a series. Like maybe it's a funnel building series. And every week for the next 12 weeks, I'm going to take you through one next step of, how I'm going to build this funnel. And Yeah. So just breaking things down really simply so that you know that that mom who's nursing a baby reading this email on her phone isn't like, oh, I'm going to have to pin this and put it in a folder and read it another day. She's never coming back. She's never reading it another day.
That's
So
true.
it's like now or never. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so right. Like I think people naturally scan. Like that's just kind of what we do. I do it when I read emails, and something has to be, yeah, it has to be short enough, but in like it has to have the depth as well. So yeah, I love that. And I love that I'm a huge fan of like content themes or content pillars, and then having like micro topics for each one. Like I normally just super simple. It's like, what's your signature offer? What's the core thing that you provide? Break that down into 4 or 5 sections, break that down into like 5 or 6 micro topics. There we go. You're never going to run out of content ideas again. Like, it's all good. And on the repeatable thing as well, marketing needs you to be stable and repetitive somewhat with your message. Otherwise, it's not going to stick. And yeah, you're so right. People aren't watching you as closely as you think.
It's kind of like the SEO thing, right? Like if for SEO to get ranked highly, and I'm not an SEO pro, so somebody clock me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's like a cumulative effect, right? On your website, you're adding more blog posts, you're like getting more keywords for that one thing. And if you talk about a different topic, if you're talking about housekeeping and then you're talking about smoothie making over here and it just becomes this big personal brand, you're not going to get known for any of those things because you're only ranking, you only have one post or two about each thing versus making your entire brand email, for instance, in my case. I want to pop up anytime someone types the word email into Google. Like that would be the goal. And so do that with your posts, because now we know social media works very similar, right? Social media algorithms, or we're learning, it works very similarly. So yeah, those pillars like you talked about, I love the way you broke that down and having those micro pillars. But yeah, really, you'll never run out. You'll never run out.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if you feel like you are like, oh, I just spoke about that, a few weeks ago or whatever, you can just change the framing of it. Maybe you spoke about it like in the frame of, let's say you were using like the PADS formula, like the copywriting formula. You were going to just talk about problem, agitate, discredit, solution. It's so nerdy, but it's just one that I like to teach because it's so easy. Like, it's just so easy to follow. Let's say you cover the same topic, 6 weeks later, and you talk about it from like an inspire, or you tell a story around it. Like the way you talk about the topic, that's interchangeable, but the topics you need to cover really need to be the same, so that, like you say, you become top of mind, because you don't want to be washed out in the online business kind of world. It's just not fun.
No. And you never want to get too comfortable. You might get a couple retainer clients and you're like, well, if nobody new is coming in, like I would be okay. You never know when one of them's going to drop off. You never know what's going to happen. And I feel that, the space is constant. I mean, it's sometimes hard. You go on threads and it's just like, man, there's thousands of posts since the last time I posted. It's like you have to, it feels like so much to talk about. But I will say, when you do pick a lane, us neurodivergents, we want to constantly start a new business, right? We're like, new venture. I have taken so much comfort lately in just fully committing to, like, I'll be the email girl for the next 40 years if email's around. And can you imagine in 40 years, like how much I will know about email if I just dedicate my life to this one specific lane? It feels comforting to me. I don't know. I think we're at a place in the economy and stuff too, where a lot of us aren't thriving, we're surviving, and we just want safety. We want job security. We want to know that the rug's not going to get pulled out from under us. It's not necessarily about the big, crazy 6-figure businesses. It's about, like, I just want to be able to, like, know that the mortgage is going to get paid. And so specificity does pay. It pays to be really specific and really deeply an expert about that one thing you choose. And not to say you're stuck there and you can't evolve. Obviously, I started out more done for you services, and now I'm moving more into like the coaching space of email. But yeah, when your brain wants to flee and something's getting uncomfortable and you're like, I don't know, like feel like I talk about this too much. I think there's always a way to, like, fall back in love with that thing. Or find a new way to talk about it, or go on an adventure and share the behind the scenes of it. Be like, you know what? I have been miserable writing emails lately, so I'm going to try to write an email a day for the next 100 days, subscribe to it, and let's, like, see where we end up, like, go on a journey with your audience. Try to have fun again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. It's just like reigniting that spark, like, and we all need that sometimes. But yeah, there's a real, I'm the same. Like, I really resonate with what you said about not changing lanes so much and actually sticking with something and nurturing it and having like finding, I guess, like mastery with it. And that's exactly how I feel about NFSA. It has been so fulfilling to focus on that one thing. And like, I did not think I'd feel that way. It reminds me of when like you meet certain guys who are like, yeah, like I'm never going to settle down and have a family, like fuck that. And then like a year later they're like, I found the woman of my dreams and I have 3 kids. Like that's how I feel with that, with my program.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like, you know, couples that somebody's like, oh, my parents have been married for 50 years. You know that was not a smooth 50 years. You know, they saw some shit, excuse my language, but you know, they've been through some shit. And so it's like, it's you and your business are going to go through some shit. You know, you and your business are going to go through it, and it may evolve and you may try different things, but there's something to be said about being a master of something. You know, I don't want to be the jack of all trades. It's overwhelming, quite frankly. Like I have a very, my mind can only handle so much. I'm very get overwhelmed easily. And so don't feel bad if you want to stick in one place and you're like, I want to be the expert of this one thing. Yeah, I'm like, I feel very passionate about getting specific, because I think when I walked into the copywriting industry, I offered everything under the sun. And here's the thing, people get scared to get specific in their brand voice because they're scared that then people aren't going to come to them for other things, right? Maybe they're like, but I don't want to lose out on website copywriting money because that's like $5,000 a project. So I don't want to say no if that rolls in. But are they even going to know I exist if I, don't post about website copy? Trust me, if you nail your brand voice, people are going to just love you for you. And they'll say, hey, I don't like, what can I pay you to do this one thing? Don't get scared of being scared, of becoming scarce by being specific,
So true. I always say, this is a saying a mentor of mine told me a while ago, and it's, people will love you and people will hate you, and none of it will have anything to do with you. And that's so true, because the more you're yourself and the more you're specific in your brand and in what you offer, you're going to attract people like bees to honey, but you're also going to repel people, and that's how you know it's working. Mm-hmm. And I love that, because if you try and gloss over it and just be, palatable to everybody, it's not gonna happen. And if, again, with the offers, like there's this, like creating new offers every 3 months seems to be like the norm, and I'm like, okay, what's going on there? Because that's not a business that's going to stand the test of time. It's not going to build reputation around anything. Like I don't teach that for that reason. We, students build one signature offer, and that's what we like grow for that reason.
Right. Because it needs so much time to know if it even sells. And this is why, like my email marketing retainer, for instance, it's a minimum 3 months, because email can be a long game. It's not an overnight, like 2 weeks, throw the thing out there, post content at work. So that's where like these offers, right? Like we want to sit in them for a while, because maybe the offers and the problem, maybe the way you're selling it's a problem, maybe the audience you're trying to tap into is a problem. But a lot of the time, I think we pour our heart and soul into these offers. Like the offers do what they say they're going to do. It's that we get really stuck in the selling them. And then when our sales strategy doesn't work right off the bat, we panic and we're like, need to go do a new offer. And it's like, you're going to go broke if you don't figure out how to sell the thing you made in the first place. And so I'm really committed this year. It's 2026 right now. I'm committed. It's June, the rest of this year, just to really sell my main 2 things, and that's all I can think of to talk about as far as content. It's like, I wouldn't want to have to be also creating another offer at the end of this quarter and planning another live launch. I think it gets competitive online. You feel like you see other people doing it, especially like popular people in the industry. Just remember, popular people in the industry have teams a lot of the time. These people have a lot of money. They can run ads. They can have multiple things going on at once. If you're just little old you, like little old me sitting at home running this business, like it's not going to scale at that speed. And you be okay with it, or don't, and decide that you want to scale and run the whole gamut. But don't feel bad if this is where you want to be. If you're like, I'm happy being solo, I don't know why I get online and I start feeling insecure about it. It's like, you haven't maybe found your people yet.
I used to feel like that a lot. Like I used to feel like I had to grow this business in a certain way and I had to have like a team. And the thing that I encourage is like, I care about profit and I care about quality. Like I never want to compromise on quality in my delivery. And I never want my business to be turning over a shit ton and then me not making any profit. Those are my two, like, what's the point? And being tired. I'm good. I'm already tired enough as it is with my brain. Like, I'm good. So yeah, I don't, lean and profitable is what I say. If you can do that, and or whatever you want, like if you want a massive team, you go for it. You just do your thing. But yeah, it doesn't have to look like everybody else. And yeah, there is a lot of noise online. And I think if you can get in the right places, and you can have an offer that will grow with you, and you can really get reputation around, that's when you stop competing with all that other noise, and you're growing your thing in your space. And I think it can be hard sometimes online.
It is. Recently I've realized, it occurred to me that when you go online, there's so much marketing that's like pain point, struggle heavy. This is where you're at, and I'm going to rub the salt in your wound. And I found myself like, being made, like, I just felt bad. I was like, I feel like there's so much wrong with me there. This ops person is saying because I, don't log in and it doesn't feel like this, that there's something wrong with me, even though like I'm happy with the way that my business is organized in spreadsheets. Why am I letting this post make me question everything? That's because they're marketing well. They're marketing well, but I think I'm on a mission this year to do like positive marketing and just, I've always said, like, don't tell me why you hate something. Tell me what you love and like why you love the thing. And that's really like, that's how I share my faith. That's how I share everything. Cause it's like, I don't need to go pick apart like this over here, and then that's not to say we should let harmful things go. Like there are people that are truly harmful in the space that needs to be called out. But I do think that there are times where you can just say, that's not for me. That post feels icky. That post made me feel bad about my business. It's not for me. Cause I used to buy those things. They made me feel so bad that I'd go buy the thing. I signed up for a multi-$1,000 membership because that person made me feel so bad about my business. And then you know what happened? They still made me feel bad about my business when I was working with them. It was the biggest learning lesson, and it cost me like $3,000 to learn it. But looking back, I'm like, go to the people that make you feel good, and not like in a yes man way, but in an encouraging way, in a sometimes convicting way, but mostly just in an encouraging way. We don't have to like, every time I write a sales page, I'm so aware of it now. I'm like, is this helping the sale, or am I just literally beating the dead horse at this point about what's wrong with them? I'm like, I'm done. We're stressed. We're all tired. We're all stressed. We don't need any more negativity. Don't need any more darkness. Like, what's wrong. I'd rather just offer you the solution instead of being like, you're up late, staring at a blank screen right now. Instead of going hard about that, I'd just rather say like, what if email marketing was the easiest content thing that you could knock out an hour or less every week, and make a shit ton of money from.
Yeah.
I don't even need to tell you why you suck. That's so irrelevant. Like, what do you mean?
I totally get you. Like, I feel that way about the really like pain heavy marketing as well. I mean, like pain point marketing, as it's like at its core, is, to me, I like to refer to it as like empathetic marketing, just letting people know, look, I know how it is. I get you. I know it's hard, but don't, like you say, don't beat the dead horse. Like I wouldn't do like pain point, because it's just like, oh, okay, like this is good. This is making me feel nice. But like equally, letting someone, I like doing it in a jokey way, because I'm the kind of person, I can't do that in my marketing where it's just like pain. If I'm going to do that, and I do a lot, not that this what I'm about to say, I do it in a jokey way. Like I know, being an ADHD, like here's some funny shit we can all relate to, haha. Like, but it's humorizing, I guess, like the struggle. And I love to do that. And I think that it makes people feel at ease with the thing that they struggle with.
You're meeting them where they're at. Yeah,
exactly. That's just something that I like to do. But like, yeah, we don't need to be, it's so funny. Well, not funny. It's actually quite awful. Your experience with the $3,000 lesson sounds dreadful, but it's funny you mentioned that was from pain point marketing, because my actually $3,000 as well, I suppose it would be, my lesson came from the opposite. So it was this coach who basically she groomed me is a bit excessive, a bit dramatic, but she was like, you can do it, like it was really on like desire marketing, and she was just like, yeah, it wasn't it wasn't empowering, it was like, you need me, but you can do this, but only if you have me, kind of thing. So that was
don't love that either. Yeah, don't love that either.
It's so weird. So it can be used both ways for sure. But yeah, we just need to remember that like people are human. You're never going to be able to ethically like convince somebody. It does not
Don't
work.
bully
It's
them
not.
into the decision, right? Like, let's not be
Exactly.
insulting.
Yeah.
This is why your business has been in the same spot since the last
Yeah.
time you filed your taxes, or like just stuff that's
Yeah.
not, it's like, oh, like, okay, I love that you mentioned joking and humor, because I think that especially when it's hyper specific situations, like, have you heated your coffee for the 37th time today? Like, and it's like, I have, like, that's not so much, but yeah, the insulting, the meanness, your experience was rather interesting too. Wow.
Super weird.
Yeah.
Like super weird. But yeah, I think, don't be mean. I sometimes, and you're right, when you're earlier on in business, or maybe you don't understand marketing yet, because when you understand marketing, you become immune to that kind of shit. I always like to describe it like that. You can easily get bullied into that stuff with people's like mean crap. But like, if I ever see anything like that now, I'm just like, I actually like just laugh at it. I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. And just scroll. But I don't know. It's weird. I hope that we're going to see a decline of that kind of stuff, but maybe we won't.
Yeah. And I have to say that as somebody with a little bit of spice and attitude, right? Like, I very easily could find myself in so many arguments online, and that have had to like consciously decide that like that's not a good way to spend my time. But I let it inspire more content. For instance, someone the other day, I posted a funny thread that said she's a 10, but she uses fake RE subject lines. And someone commented and was like, if it works, like, do it, blah, 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 And I was like, yeah, except it's illegal and you could get fined or go to prison. And they commented back and they were like, well, the law is vague. And I like screenshotted it and I thought, I don't read this as vague, but here's the thing. I'm not going to argue, and there's nothing wrong with this person. I don't need to insult them and be like, you're an idiot, you don't know anything about email. No, I'm going to go make this a learning lesson for my audience. So I'm going to write an email about like, don't use these subject lines, or whatever it is. And so I can take it as a learning experience, but without, it's not a humiliation ritual. I'm not out here to be like, this is why I'm so smart about email and everyone else like doesn't know what they're talking about. Like, I'm just going to say here, as your bestie who doesn't want you to get in trouble with the FTC, like, we should probably maybe not do that. Like,
Exactly. You're just like, again, it's value. It's like, I get you. I'm here for you, and I'm trying to help, rather than like I'm up here and you're down here. Just quickly on the RE subject line thing.
Yeah.
Is that really so? Wait, so when I need to send out an important email to like a section of
I'm pulling the screenshots up right now. I'll tell you the law. Well, and here's the thing. This is the U.S. Where I pulled this from was the U.S. The CAN-SPAM Act, which is obviously U.S. based law. So this may be different, but you're sending emails, I'm assuming, to the U.S.
Yeah, definitely.
And so the two things was, number one is don't use false or misleading header information. Your from and to and reply to and routing information must be accurate and identify the person or business who initiated the message. And then number two is don't use deceptive subject lines. The subject line must accurately reflect the content of the message. That's not vague to me. That's not vague.
No,
that is saying don't clickbait. Don't say that, whatever it is. Here's the thing that I did have a moment where I just thought about the laws. So I could write an email about all the laws of all the countries and all the things, or I could tell my list like, hey, I'm going to start reporting on this, weekly about just the laws, because there's so many. If you want to be in on this series, I'm going to do opt in on this opt-in page. And that subject line thing could be one point. Another one could be another whole email. And so that's where I'm taking these big, broad ideas and I can turn them into so much more content that's going to resonate so much better versus like, here's all the laws for all the countries for everybody. Like, that email is not going to perform, No.
So, I mean, it's going to be so long for starters. But I love that. Okay, I just wanted to, hopefully that helps you guys if you are ever wondering about like legality with the emails. I just wanted to check, because I only use the RE when it's like cancellation of something or like an important reminder. I'll use RE then. So it's like an actual thing of like, I need to let you know something that's happening because you've signed up for it, or like I've cancelled an event, or like, I've only used it at the time where it's like regarding something, not like RE, my new offer is launching today.
Or like RE urgent message, and then you open it and it's a launch email or something, or like RE. Okay,
okay, cool, sweet. I just wanted to make sure like I wasn't breaking the law.
RE response required, and it's not. You just be responsible about it. I was thinking.
I feel like Sorry, you go.
Oh, no, don't do it to others if you don't want it done to you, is like the general
Yeah.
rule of thumb, right? You've seen some brands in the last year, I can't even think of who right now, has done some like weird ads around like things going on in the world, you know?
Yes.
Like one of
Oh
them,
my, I know
I
what
think
you mean.
somebody put like your name was found on the Epstein list was a subject line. And I cannot
Yes, I
remember who
saw
did that right now, but somebody did that. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's so like
So weird, and
distasteful. Like,
it is distasteful and disrespectful to like the serious, like the actual serious like things that are going on with the thing that you've now basically used as a joke. It's awful. And I think it was actually like it was this company I used to use to like reroute my phone lines to my mobile, to my cell. I can't remember what they were called, and they did something like that, and it was like something about a natural disaster or something, and I was like, what? And then you open it and it was like, oh, we're testing some email, like how our subject line performs, and you opened it and it's like, what? That's awful. So yeah, don't clickbait people, basically.
like evacuation required. You're like, what? And it's like Fashion Nova's 80% off sale. I'm like, what is happening?
It's so weird. It's so, just get good at marketing and understand your people, and guess what, build human relationships, and then you don't have to try and trick people into shit. Like,
and you want to know my best subject line advice in the whole entire world is don't give away the butt of the joke in the subject line. Don't tell them in the subject or the preview text what they're getting. Don't say, you know, gosh, I'm always bad at thinking of things on the spot, but you know what I'm saying? Like, don't say the embarrassing thing that happened on the first date. Say, I can't believe this happened on a first date. And then let them come read the email about it. You know, don't give it away. That's the thing with subject lines. So you can pique curiosity, but pique curiosity about something you're actually going to tell them. Don't lie.
Yeah, literally. I like to say, like, if you can make them, like, sometimes it works if you can make your email subject lines a little bit weird. Like, one of my students did this the other day, and she had the weirdest, she has this like she's an ADHD coach, and she has this like thing that she gives some of her clients, which is like the 3 M's, which is like movement, music, and something else. And it's called like the MMM thing, like process. And so part of the movement thing was like flopping around in the bed if you don't want to get up or something. I can't remember, I'm like butchering it. And so her subject line was do a little and flop like a fish ... And I was like, that's fucking brilliant, because people are gonna look at that like, what is that? Like, that is so weird.
I'm clicking it instantly, you know.
Yeah, literally. I love it. Oh man. Well, this is, I literally could, we're just such yappers. I could literally talk to you all day. But to round it off with a little fun wildcard question. So if you could magically make every neurodivergent business owner understand one thing about email marketing, or maybe like throwing something in the bin that is commonly like said about email marketing, if you could just like throw it away, what would it be for neurodivergent business owners?
I'm going to give something to the neurotypicals in the room too, because this is what hit my brain first. One thing is clean your email list, clean your email list, clean your email list, clean your list. And by that, I mean, remove anybody who hasn't opened an email in 90 days and do that at least every 90 days. You will see, you know, a better result as far as your open rates. Now for neurodivergent people, book time in your schedule every week, have a block that is your email writing block, and then have a system for how you write emails, whether it's I'm going to brain dump it in Claude and add my brand messaging strategy and it's going to write it for me, or that you are just going to sit down and write it. However, whatever your routine is, and make it an hour recurring event every single week. Better if you can do it at the same time every week, but I know sometimes we're like not in the mood weirdly to do the thing we're supposed to do. So move it around as you need to, but don't ever delete the event and leave it there. And if you are a batcher, if you're somebody who doesn't want to do it once a week, you could take that hour and do a 4-hour batch session once a month. But have the time on the calendar. Don't just be like, oh, I wrote it on my list, I got to write an email this week. Is the time blocked off where nobody can take that time from you on the calendar? If not, get that on there. So that would be my number one.
Yes, love it. I'm such a fan of time blocking. I literally, and I say this to my students as well, time block everything, because if it's on a to-do list, it's so ambiguous, we're not going to do it. Like, I and most of our brains work like this. You need to see it like on your calendar, and you need to have that time like dedicated. And also, I love incentivizing things that you feel a bit resistant to doing. So like if you know the email like writing is something that you need to be in like full creative swing for, then make your office space all nice, light a candle, like get like a hot tea, get cozy, or like whatever, go outside, whatever your thing is, like make it enjoyable and creative, like an art project, like because it's like it's art in a way, you know, it's your soul.
Yeah, go do it at a coffee shop. I know for a lot of us, we get work done faster. I don't know why we do that at coffee shops. So yeah, take your laptop and say, I'm going to go plant my butt with my favorite coffee, and I'm not going to leave there until my list has gotten an email. And take that time every week, and it will get easier. I promise that. It's a muscle. You got to exercise it. It'll get easier. So yeah. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. This has been an incredibly valuable episode. I know everyone's going to love it. Where can people find you, connect with you, and what have you got going on at the moment?
You can come join me at the Copywriting Mama. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Threads. Threads if you're a little bit more unhinged. Instagram if you like to keep it professional. You can go grab my 75 Hootie subject lines that are going to go right in alignment with flopping like a fish in your bed. And those can be found on a link that's in my bio over on those profiles. So go ahead and grab that. And yeah, that's the best first way to get in contact with me.
Amazing. And I will leave that that link there as well. And what have you got, your new offer? Can you give a little brief kind of rundown of that?
Yeah, I've got a membership now, and that membership includes a curriculum as well as monthly newsletter prompts, a monthly training, and then you get access to me in the community. I answer every single question. There's 2 tiers. First tier is only $97 a month, and you get all the prompts and the monthly training, the curriculum. And then if you want to add a one-on-one strategy session every quarter plus monthly copy audits, you can add $200. It's $297, and you get to work with me one-on-one on your monthly emails and get my eyes on them each month. So those are that's the main way to work with me right now. I also offer done for you services, and that can all be found on my website. So thank you for giving me a chance to shout that out.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's a great offer, and I think that it's it's already doing really well. So I can't wait to watch it grow as well. I'll be cheering you on. All right, you are so welcome, and I will see you guys next week back on a solo episode. All right, guys, that is a wrap for today. And if you love this episode, I would be so grateful if you could leave a review and maybe even share it with a business buddy who you think would really get something from it too. It really does make a huge difference. The more reviews and shares, etc., that this podcast gets, the more it gets pushed out to other creative, brilliant, neurospicy business owners who really need to hear this stuff. And honestly, I just want more people like you to know that success does not have to look the way that we've been told it does. So the more you help me get this into the right hands, the better. And if you're ready to take things a step further and get some real support, just head to the description and you'll find the link to the Neurofriendly Sales Accelerator, which is my 4-month signature marketing coaching program for neurodivergent entrepreneurs. From there, you'll be able to book a free strategy call with me. We'll have a chat to see where you are and see if it's the right fit, and we will go from there. All right, see you in the next one.